The Serbian military is perhaps among the most unparalleled and distinctive forces in all of Europe. Consider a military furnished with weapons from China, America, Russia, France, and even Israel. Isn't it an exceptionally peculiar amalgamation? Prior to 2022, the Serbian army primarily utilized Soviet, Russian, and Chinese armaments. However, the war in Ukraine instigated changes for Serbia. Serbia rapidly initiated actions to phase out Russian weaponry from its arsenal. Serbia declined to engage in any sanctions against Vladimir Putin, but did not hesitate to equip Ukraine. Belgrade was also abandoning critical agreements with Moscow and pivoting towards Beijing. Although Serbian military strategy had for decades been influenced by the Soviet doctrine, they did not pause in their pivot toward European cooperation. The Serbians were overtly dismissing Russian camaraderie, making it clear to Moscow that enough was enough and that they should step back. Thus, how is it that Serbia could side with Ukraine while simultaneously disregarding Russia? What has the Belgrade administration enacted on behalf of Kiev thus far? Which accords with Moscow did the Serbians cancel and consequently pursue with China? We will examine the solutions to all these pressing matters in concert, but prior to that, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel, switch on notifications, and grant us a like so you remain current with all our material. Serbia represented one of the limited European countries that had robust ties with Russia. Superficially, Serbia appeared neutral concerning the war in Eastern Europe. However, as the situation escalated, Serbia commenced dispatching military aid to Ukraine via intermediary nations. Even the most notorious Russian war bloggers did not condemn Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić, who once more demonstrated an extraordinary capability to ingratiate himself with the Kremlin. Vučić's triumph was no small task. Serbia supplied Ukraine with substantial military assistance worth approximately $800 million United States dollars, channeled through intermediary nations. Yet, the Kremlin opted to overlook the situation. Putin preferred to disregard the sporadic backpedaling of his Serbian associates, believing that the bond with Belgrade was crucial for sustaining Russian influence in the Balkans. Additionally, Belgrade's detachment from Moscow and its turn toward Chinese, Israeli, and European industries, along with its vital assistance to Ukraine, dealt a significant blow to Putin. Let us first discuss the armed shipments Serbia conveyed to Ukraine, fully visible to Russia. The transfers of armaments by Serbia, which has become a nightmare for Russia, particularly concerning Ukraine, were probably not even anticipated by Russian President Vladimir Putin initially. In point of fact, Serbian arms distributions were commercial and indirect through NATO member states. Nevertheless, regarding sheer worth, Serbia has provided more assistance to Ukraine than any of the 3 Baltic states or outspoken advocates for Kiev like Spain or Croatia. Serbian shells were directly undermining Russian initiatives to deplete Ukrainian stockpiles, not to mention eliminating Russian troops. Vučić himself verified the scale of the supplies and nonchalantly stated that the identity of the end recipient was of no concern to him. Even then, Russia did not respond. When asked about the issue, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov mentioned having discussions on the matter with his Serbian counterparts. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova did not even reference it in her regular pronouncements against Russia's real and imagined enemies. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Alexander Grushko has remained silent, at least publicly, on Serbia's arms shipments to Ukraine. The Russian embassy in Belgrade has even exerted considerable effort to refute media speculation that any dialogue transpired during Grushko's meetings with Serbian officials. Serbia's arms shipments to Ukraine have remained an open secret since early 2023, when initial leaks were released. Moscow later pledged to investigate the matter. Yet to this day, the Putin administration continues to praise Vučić as a close friend and reliable associate. According to experts, the Serbian leader, hailing from the murky world of post-communist politics, was fully aware that Russian policies are shaped not by abstract national interests, but by the personal agendas of dignitaries combined. Vučić, therefore, was acting in Serbia's best interests, rather than attempting to ingratiate himself with Russia entirely. Serbia's continuous support for Ukraine and international organizations, the provision of ammunition, and the overall positive direct communications between Volodymyr Zelensky and Aleksandar Vučić were progressively fracturing the Belgrade-Moscow connection. In fact, Serbia executed an exceptional move against Russia to finally dissolve this connection. Serbia suspended several of its military accords with Russia and postponed others indefinitely. While Serbia had previously prided itself on maintaining a strong military relationship with Moscow, the evolving international climate and growing strain from Western sanctions on Russia have left Belgrade with increasingly restricted alternatives. Despite Russia's mounting isolation on the global stage, Serbia had previously managed to keep its supply lines for arms accessible by producing under license in third-party countries, guaranteeing continued access to Russian-made weaponry. This calculated solution allowed the Serbian military to preserve a significant inventory of Russian arms in working condition and rely on local talent for parts production and maintenance. But now, the Serbians have completely rejected Moscow in relation to arms transactions. This judgment, announced in an interview by General Milan Mojsilović, Serbia's chief of the general staff, denoted a dramatic shift in the nation's military approach. With this decision, Serbia hoped that global diplomatic relations would ultimately normalize and pave the way for these accords to be reinstated. In August of last year, Serbia chose to abandon the acquisition of a fresh batch of Russian fighter jets, which had been under discussion since 2021. Instead of Russian aircraft, Belgrade procured 12 French Rafale jets for 2.7 billion €, to supplant the aging Russian MiG-29 fleet. As Mojsilović acknowledged, this arrangement denoted the inception of a substantial restructuring of the Serbian Air Force, as it would necessitate retraining of pilots, reorganization of military infrastructure, and other complicated preparations. Mojsilović specified that the selection of French fighter jets was made because they would furnish the Air Force with the required capabilities in the long haul. War analysts emphasized that Serbia's determination to buy 12 fresh French Rafale fighter jets symbolizes a profound evolution of Serbia's strategic position amid the conflict between the West and Russia. On the other hand, Serbia has turned to other countries instead of Russian arms and military resources. Serbia has already favored alternative providers, particularly China, to fill the gap left by Russian military hardware. As a clear indication of this transition, Serbia announced the procurement of the Chinese-manufactured Fk-3 air defense system, which will supersede Russia's S-400 air defense structures. This step not only reflected Serbia's evolving defense requirements, but also a broader realignment of military priorities as the country seeks to diversify its defense providers in an increasingly hostile geopolitical setting. As part of a new generation of air defense systems, the Fk-3 brought a number of enhancements to Serbia's military arsenal. Engineered for adaptability, this integrated system encompasses mobile command and logistics vehicles, missile launchers, and advanced radar systems, delivering the Serbian army robust, multi-layered protection against a diverse array of aerial threats. Whether combating high-speed cruise missiles or enemy aircraft, the Fk-3's ability to operate in complex and dynamic environments affords Serbia a noteworthy advantage in defending its airspace. One of the highlights of the Fk-3 system is its resilience to electronic warfare, a growing concern for contemporary air defense systems. With sophisticated countermeasures to prevent jamming and interference, the Fk-3 ensures that the Serbian military can sustain its operational integrity, even in contested electronic environments. The system is also equipped to neutralize incoming missiles aimed at radar tracking stations, rendering it an effective instrument against precision-guided munitions crafted to disable vital air defense infrastructure. In terms of strategic impact, the Fk-3 is more than a mere technological upgrade. It is a signal to both adversaries and allies that Serbia is serious about modernizing its defense capabilities. The deployment of such an advanced system will heighten the country's deterrent capabilities, enabling it to better defend against external threats from near and far. As the region grapples with shifting alliances and military postures, Serbia's Fk-3 deployment sends a clear message. The country is no longer relying solely on its historical military ties, but is actively diversifying its defense solutions and preparing for the challenges of the future. With a turbulent past, Serbia has been working diligently to modernize its armed forces amid rising tensions with its neighbors. As part of its modernization drive, Serbia has been pursuing military agreements with Israel as well as China. Belgrade signed a $350 million United States dollars deal with Israeli defense giant Elbit Systems to buy the state-of-the-art PULS artillery rocket system and Hermes 900 male reconnaissance drones. These shocking moves signaled Serbia's complete abandonment of Russia for arms and military resources. Serbia's latest deal with Israel, on the other hand, made the situation even clearer. So what exactly were these systems that Serbia bought from Israel? Let's start with Elbit Pulse. Elbit Pulse is an advanced, modular, multi-caliber rocket artillery system with different rocket calibers, allowing the operator to select different munitions according to mission requirements. PULS can launch 122 mm rockets with a range of 40 kilometers, 160 mm rockets with a range of 45 kilometers, 306 mm rockets with a range of 150 kilometers, and heavy rockets and missiles such as Extra and Predator Hawk with a range of nearly 300 kilometers. This increases the versatility of the platform. Importantly, PULS is platform independent and has a modular architecture. This essentially means that it can be integrated into various wheeled or tracked chassis of different sizes, including 4x4, 6x6, and 8x8. The PULS artillery system can operate independently or be integrated into pre-existing command and control networks. Furthermore, this state-of-the-art artillery system can receive targeting information directly from forward observers, radar, or UAVs. PULS's versatility and precision targeting capabilities make it highly suitable for modern battlefield environments where adaptability, speed, and accuracy are critical. The acquisition underscores Serbia's commitment to strengthening its defense capabilities in the face of possible moves against Russia, rising regional tensions, and geopolitical rivalry with Croatia. Serbian leader Aleksandar Vučić appeared to be trying to position PULS as a direct countermeasure against Croatia's expanding military capabilities, effectively emphasizing the advanced capabilities of Israeli systems. The two neighbors have been at occasional odds with each other since Serbian troops intervened in Croatia during the Balkan War in the 1990s, a land grab that led to Belgrade's defeat and the expulsion of tens of thousands of ethnic Serbs living there. While the two states do not directly confront each other, they remain locked in a tense rivalry that has led to the purchase of sophisticated weapons on both sides. Experts believe that Serbia is also expanding its arms deal with Israel to counter possible Russian invasion moves. In particular, the Serbian wing is pursuing important defense plans against Russia's threats to corner Europe with nuclear weapons and drone strikes. In addition to PULS, Serbia has also purchased Hermes 900 male reconnaissance drones for this purpose. The Hermes 900 is a medium-altitude long-endurance UAV with an endurance of about 36 hours and a range of about 1,000 kilometers. With a payload capacity of 300 kilograms, this UAV offers its operator state-of-the-art intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities. With the help of this UAV, Serbia will be in a better position to track evolving threats in the region. This purchase is a testament to the relationship between Serbia and Israel, which goes back several years. At the height of the Balkan Wars in the 1990s, Israel was arming Bosnian Serbs. The defense relationship between the two countries has strengthened recently, as seen when Serbia facilitated arms transfers to Israel to strengthen its fight against its rivals in the West Asian region. Yugo Import SDPR, Serbia's main state arms dealer, shipped at least 24 million United States dollars worth of weapons to Israel in 17 shipments, using both Israeli military and civilian aircraft. The Hermes UAVs Serbia has now acquired will be an important element for force in scenarios where Russia violates European airspace. All these deals and military procurement from different countries have undermined Serbia's ties with Russia while providing the Belgrade regime with important allies. Currently, relations between Serbia and Russia have been shaky, especially in recent years. Belgrade must have realized that these relations have not benefited it much. Economic ties between Serbia and Russia, once the cornerstone of a strategic partnership, are also undergoing a significant transformation. According to a recent report by the Russian Council on International Relations, Russia's economic influence in the Western Balkans is coming under increasing pressure due to Western sanctions, targeting key sectors such as energy, metallurgy, and the arms trade. So how did the relationship between the two come to this? Although the EU is Serbia's primary economic partner, Russia has long played an important role in the Serbian economy. In 2022, bilateral trade between the two countries reached an all-time high of $4.28 billion. However, the tide turned in 2023 as sanctions took effect, and the momentum of Serbia's imports from Russia was sharply curtailed. The rise in energy costs, coupled with restrictions on Russian products, forced Serbia to turn to alternative sources for military and energy needs, demonstrating the fragility of Russia's economic power in the region. On the energy front, Serbia continues to seek a delicate balance. Deputy Prime Minister Aleksandar Vulin reiterated the country's desire to increase gas imports from Russia, stating that Serbia is actively negotiating with Gazprom to extend the current gas supply contract. Of course, it is difficult at the moment for Serbia to completely give up some Russian supply lines. The Belgrade regime's focus has been on securing gas volumes similar to the current arrangement, which is a critical part of Serbia's energy security strategy. Despite these negotiations, the facts on the ground told a different story. In April 2024, Serbia experienced a sharp drop in gas imports from Russia. This was a stark reminder of the changing dynamics. The Serbian government has yet to address how it will manage this energy deficit, leaving questions about the sustainability of its current energy strategy. While Serbia has long maintained a policy of neutrality and balance between East and West, this new stance marked a clear departure from the country's previous strategy. By supplying ammunition to Ukraine, Serbia is walking a fine line between its historical ties with Russia and its desire to maintain stable relations with the West. The move has generated considerable controversy, with some accusing Serbia of undermining its traditional position of neutrality in the conflict. This development adds another layer of complexity to Serbia's foreign policy, which has become increasingly unpredictable due to the ongoing war in Ukraine. While Serbia's military and diplomatic maneuvers are clearly designed to protect its national interests, they also reflect broader geopolitical shifts taking place in the Balkans. With Russia's influence waning and Western sanctions tightening, Serbia's future alignment remains uncertain. Belgrade's decisions in the coming months will be critical in determining whether Serbia can continue to maintain the delicate balance between East and West, or will be forced to choose sides in an increasingly polarized world. As Serbia seeks to preserve its strategic autonomy, it faces a formidable challenge that will shape the future of the region for years to come. But if the West further isolates Russia over time, Belgrade is likely to be further away from the Moscow regime. Relations between the two countries are expected to cool further as international backlash grows. Just as Serbia has abandoned Russia in terms of military resources and arms deals, there is no reason why it cannot find new partners in the energy sector. The Belgrade regime is aware of the situation and will probably not hesitate to use this option when the day comes. This is evidenced by Serbia's orientation towards Russia so far. Thank you for watching our channel. Pause. There have been many significant events unfolding globally, and today, let's delve into a particularly intriguing situation. We will be examining Serbia's complex position in the current geopolitical landscape. Before we move on, take a moment to ensure you've subscribed to our channel. Tapping the subscribe button is crucial for helping us grow and deliver more in-depth content. And do not forget to give us a thumbs up. Your like goes a long way. Also, why not drop a comment letting us know where you're watching from? We are always interested in our audience. Pause. Be sure to stick around until the very end of the video. We have some critical conclusions coming up. Serbia's recent actions have ignited discussions within the international community, questioning where its allegiances truly lie. Once a steadfast ally of Russia, Belgrade has initiated a series of strategic realignments that challenge its past relationships. Serbia's decision to supply aid to Ukraine, albeit discreetly, signals a noteworthy change. This move has not been without its critics, with some interpreting it as a betrayal of its historical ties with Moscow. However, Serbian officials have defended their actions, maintaining that they are prioritizing their national interests within a changing geopolitical framework. What is evident is Serbia's complex balancing act, which is taking place while the world watches closely. The Serbian position is not straightforward. They are navigating the complexities of global power dynamics, trying to sustain their place on the international stage and avoiding any overt allegiances with either side. Serbia's military strategy is another facet of this intricate transformation, moving away from Russia towards nations like China, France, and Israel for military hardware. This diversification has allowed Serbia to enhance its national security and also send a clear message that it will no longer be reliant on one particular partner. Furthermore, Belgrade has suspended certain military agreements with Russia, an act that has further strained their long-standing relationship. This strategic realignment has significant repercussions, affecting not only Serbia's future, but also the wider stability of the Balkan region. The ramifications of these actions will continue to play out on the world stage as the future unfolds. The geopolitical implications of Serbia's actions extend beyond its own borders, impacting the wider stability of the Balkans region. As nations assess the evolving alliances, the complex dynamics in the region become increasingly evident. The Balkan area has long been the place of complex relationships, with shifting loyalties and historic rivalries shaping national policies. Russia's declining impact in the region, coupled with the increasing influence of the West, has created a power vacuum that Serbia is trying to navigate carefully. Belgrade's strategic moves could potentially reshape regional alliances. The relationships between Serbia, Croatia, and other Balkan states are also in a state of flux due to these evolving circumstances. Croatia and Serbia have been at odds with each other since the 1990s, and this has led to both sides seeking to expand their military capabilities. This military expansion by both nations has created an environment of cautious tension in the region. Each country's strategy in this dynamic region is under careful observation by neighboring countries and larger world powers. The strategic decisions of one nation can drastically alter the whole region, highlighting the complex interplay of regional relationships. It's essential to explore the economic implications of Serbia's shift away from Russia, which is a key part of its strategy. Serbia, like many other European nations, has experienced economic pressure due to sanctions and economic factors related to the Ukraine war. The economic landscape in Serbia has long been shaped by its relationship with Russia, with many vital sectors reliant on Russian trade and investments. But as Serbia reduces its reliance on Russia, they have been forced to look for new economic partners. The move to turn to China, the EU, and other countries has been driven by a necessity to secure stability and prosperity in a changing world. This economic transformation mirrors the changes in their defense and diplomatic strategies. The reduction in energy imports from Russia has been a crucial part of this change, compelling Serbia to consider other providers of oil and natural gas. The Serbian government has emphasized the importance of maintaining a stable supply of energy while considering its future economic interests. The economic choices that Serbia makes will have long-term implications for the nation, highlighting the interconnected nature of economic, defense, and diplomatic policies. The decision by Serbia to pursue military agreements with Israel marks a significant step in its realignment of defense partnerships. The acquisition of the PULS rocket system and Hermes 900 drones showcases a strategic commitment to strengthening its military and moving away from Russian technology. The Israeli arms deals are also crucial as they are designed to provide an advantage against potential regional conflicts and tensions, especially with neighboring nations. Furthermore, the purchase of state-of-the-art weaponry illustrates Serbia's dedication to keeping pace with the advances in defense technology. The collaboration with Israel demonstrates a more significant effort by Serbia to diversify its military partners. This move provides new capabilities and emphasizes Serbia's ability to choose its own partnerships and avoid being reliant on a single supplier for its security. These strategic alliances have also been essential to Serbia and are very critical for its security and geopolitical positioning in the region. These agreements signify a clear direction from Belgrade towards a modern and diversified defense posture. The political dynamics both within Serbia and in the wider region are deeply impacted by Serbia's strategic pivots. Public sentiment within Serbia on its changing alliances is varied. There are those that support the need to move away from reliance on Moscow, while others feel that this move is abandoning historical allegiances. Vučić has had to navigate the political nuances of this diverse view while still addressing the strategic needs of his nation. These shifts in policy also affect neighboring countries and political relationships within the Balkans. The dynamics of Serbian foreign policy especially regarding Russia and the EU, adds to this complex political setting. It is increasingly apparent that Serbia is carefully balancing its national interests with the changing global environment. The internal and external political environment in Serbia is continually shaped by its current strategies and the influence of global and local events. The future of Serbia and its surrounding region hinges on how effectively Belgrade manages these competing forces. In the domain of energy security, Serbia faces significant challenges as it attempts to diminish its dependence on Russian gas imports. The dependence on Russia for natural gas has been a crucial factor in Serbia's energy landscape for a very long time, causing Serbia to now find other suppliers and diversify its energy sources. While still negotiating with Gazprom, Serbia is also seeking to diversify its supply routes. Securing a stable energy supply is of paramount importance to its national interests, underscoring the critical links between energy policy and national security. This diversification is also part of a wider effort to reduce Serbia's reliance on a single provider and increase its energy independence. The recent decrease in gas imports from Russia has emphasized how necessary a more robust and varied energy policy is. The decisions regarding energy security are not just of economic concern. They also influence Serbia's relations with other nations and the overall stability of the region. The success of this policy will define Serbia's ability to maintain energy stability while also re-establishing its geopolitical strategies. The conclusion to draw from Serbia's actions is that it's at a crossroads, trying to maneuver between its past ties with Russia and its current needs for future stability in a world that is rapidly changing. The efforts to modernize its military, diversify its economic relationships, and find a balance in a complex political climate reflect the critical choices that Serbia has to make. The decisions and directions that the Serbian government takes will have major consequences for not only the nation, but also for the region. The future of Serbia will be defined by its strategy to maneuver the complexities of the geopolitical arena and maintain the stability of the region. It will be interesting to see how the region in Belgrade will develop over the coming months as it finds itself in the middle of a complex and complicated global environment. The balancing act that Serbia is undertaking showcases the challenge of dealing with power dynamics and the delicate equilibrium that is needed in the modern world. Pause. So to summarize our deep dive into Serbia's complex situation, we've observed how it's navigating a really challenging geopolitical environment. We've seen its military and economic realignments, and the political tensions involved, all underscoring the complexities of its strategy. These changes are extremely critical for Serbia's future and for regional stability. Serbia is truly an example of a nation trying to adapt to a fast-changing global landscape. We encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments section. And before you head off, remember to subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Stay tuned for more content, and thank you for being a part of our community.